and welcome back to the 9th Gen series of GIIS podcast, the Smartcast. I'm Shalini Jha and I will be your host for today. I'm no expert in cricket, but who doesn't love a good experience of the gentleman's game? Cricket is a religion for many, including my family, who stops everything they're doing and gather around the TV to watch a match. The excitement of the game is such that even when we sit in the audience, we will have an opinion, a strategy, and a voice. And yes, each one of us has a favorite player. So let me ask you this: who is your favorite player? I will give you 2 more seconds to think. Now, I bet $1 million that each one had one player in mind, and all those players are male. But women too play cricket. And while they may not feature among your favorite, they still show great love for the game as well as great skill to play it. Many women players have broken stereotypes to make a mark for themselves in the sport. Women's cricket has also created a number of stars and record holders, although they may fall behind in popularity. That might change in the future, especially if our today's guest has anything to do with it. Today, I have the privilege of talking to GIS Alumna, who has excelled as a cricketer on so many occasions that she was perhaps a rare player to be given the chance to play shoulder to shoulder with boys in the final 11. Please allow me to welcome Savi Surendra. Savi started playing cricket in grade 6 and represented the school in many tournaments, national and international. This emerging talent has never let her gender decide her boundaries, and I'm thrilled to get an opportunity to chat with her on her inspiring journey as an emerging star. So let's jump right into it. Hi, Savi. Welcome to our podcast.
Hello. It's actually my pleasure and honor to be involved in this. As a former student of GIS, I was actually very how do I say this? I was actually bit struck that I was approached for something like this because I don't really see myself at that level right now to be actually doing interviews and anything like that.
Well, nonetheless, we are very, very thrilled to have you with us today. So, why don't we start with getting to know you a bit more? Please tell our audience a little about yourself.
Well, I started playing the game when I was very young, and actually in GIIS, when I joined, I was one of the only girls to actually take up the sport in the ECA periods, which is extracurricular activities that they used to do. And there, it was a very new experience for me because everybody was like, "See, like, Savi, you're a girl, right? How come you're playing cricket? Will you be fine?" And I was like, even I was scared, but then I learned to accept it. And even the coach and all the players who were playing there were very supportive of me playing the game, and I never felt like I was the only girl. I was still able to make friends with all the players. And other than that, I've been playing for a couple of years now, and in Singapore I used to play for the national team, and I've also come back to after I came back to India for a couple of years. I was playing just interzonal levels, which is inside the state, and then finally I got my chance to play for the state and represent it in the South Zone tournaments, which is only like all the South Indian states like Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, etc. And now I'm looking forward to getting to the under 19 state side, where I'll get a chance to play in all of India, not just the South Zone, even the North Indian states will also be there, and I can actually participate. And from here on, and from there only, I can actually make it a stepping stone to actually make it in national side, because right now they're looking forward to do the under 19 World Cup in a couple of years for even the women's. So it'll be a good day when I actually make it to the under 19 stateside and finally play for India. That's my dream right now.
That's great. And I'm sure once you get to playing international, everyone here at GIS will be rooting for you. So,
Thank you.
so what made you decide that you wanted to pursue cricket as a career, and who encouraged you to do so?
Well, at first, my parents were the major people who actually supported me and encouraged me. When I was small, I used to play with my cousin brothers in India, and I even attended a few summer camps here and there. But after came to Singapore. There, Manish sir, who was the coach at that time there, asked me. I was playing tennis ball cricket basically in extracurricular activities. So he asked me if I can actually, bowl with a leather ball and a bit more distance because we were playing like almost gully cricket. Like it was just a small pitch and there was no real rules and everything. And he encouraged me he encouraged me to take my game to the next level and start playing with the boys actually like professionally, that is with a leather ball, and play tournaments. And I got to understand what like how cricket is played professionally through him. And he's one of the people who I really ought to thank, because I've even like reaching this level wouldn't have been possible without him. And other than that, yeah, even my grandmother is a ardent follower of the game. She actually sits with me and watches all the IPL games and all the India games. I actually talk to her also about strategies and everything. She's also a huge supporter. And basically, everyone in my family always supports me playing the game. They never are like, this, you should not, they actually are pushing me to make it a career. I'm already committed to it, but they are the ones who are really like, sometimes I might feel like, oh, am I not good enough? And they're like, no, you should, stick to your guns, or like, have that guts and, take your game to like higher and higher levels and try and make it your career as much as possible. Because cricket is not an easy game for you,
That's for sure.
and it's not an easy career path.
It's definitely very, very helpful to be surrounded by people who are so encouraging of what you want to do and your passions. So,
Yes.
can you tell us a bit more? Elaborate on your training sessions at GIS and how your coach helped you?
Well, as I told you at first, when I did start with the leather ball, he was one who taught me some of my most basic games. Right now, I'm a medium pacer, that is a fast bowler, and I have just been bowling for a couple of years, but that time Manish sir not only taught me to bowl, but he emphasized the importance on batting as well, and he taught me like basics in batting. I was actually a good batsman there, and he used to give me time, even if they were all boys, and it's kind of scary to think that, oh, boys are coming and bowling at me and that speed and everything. But he used to always tell me to, it's okay, don't let your gender, be a barrier for you, like go and he always used to allow me to practice with them, because nobody else was there for me to practice with, and girls. So I basically learned to be more brave and started to face the ball better because he pushed me to it. And as well, in even in bowling as well, I tried fast bowling, of course, and I also was trying spin. But at the end, I stuck with fast bowling because I felt that was what was important, and even he helped me with that. So yeah, and he shaped my fielding as well, in terms of I used to love fielding because he used to give me high catches. I was very competitive. I always wanted to compete with the boys, and I always used to ask him, give me high catches. I want higher catches than the boys. I don't want to just, don't take it easy on me because I'm a girl. So he used to train me very, like, he never used to also see me as a girl. He always used to treat me equally. And that was one of the things I appreciate in GIIS.
It must have sure been very, very difficult to make a space for yourself with the boys, especially since there was no girls' team when you started playing out initially. So, how did you manage to make a space for yourself in this scenario? What
Uh,
qualities helped you?
well, actually, um, we were all very young at that time. I was just about fifth to sixth standards. Like we were all 13 or like 12, 13-year-olds. And sometimes the boys used to like, there was still this kind of, at that age, boys are usually like, they kind of used to stay a bit not how do you say, we were not that close. But as we grew older, I did understand how to interact with them, and then they also like started to understand. And because I played at least for 2 years around in GIS, I kept playing with the boys. They also finally, they also started understanding how I like how I am as a girl. Even if I was a girl, I didn't really act like a girl when I was in school at that point. I used to make an effort, consciously make an effort, and try to interact with them and try to talk to them as well. And yeah, they also have respected that, and I really appreciate it because like in GIIS, they like the environment was that way that you didn't really feel like you are alienated in any sorts of ways. And even the coach used to always encourage me to go get along with the boys, because as I said, I was competitive and I didn't want to just lag behind. So I used to always, push and get myself to the same level as them in terms of skill as well. So they never used to underestimate me as well, and I appreciated that as well from them. So it was the environment in GIS that helped me. That's all.
That and your competitiveness is the reason why you're here today. So,
Yeah.
you did mention that your coach encouraged you to bowl with a leather ball and helped you decide whether you wanted to do spinning or fast bowling. So, is there a particular reason why you decided to choose bowling over batting?
Well, it was not a reason, more of a you can say what happened. Like naturally, I started bowling more because it was not in GIS. In GIS, the coach still gave me the opportunity to bat and bowl. But as I went to Singapore Cricket Academy, which is from where I joined the national side, there were a lot of established batsmen, and they were all like very actually old. When I was still like what I was still 13, 14 at that time when I joined the team, and they were all 20-year-olds who were all very good at batting. And I felt bowling was the only place I kind of did hold out. Like I was very consistent with the ball, and that was the only way I could actually make it into the team. So that's when I like, it was not a conscious choice, but it just happened to have like, it just happened to be that way because I had to keep bowling and practicing bowling, because that was the only way I could get into the 11 and actually play the matches. Otherwise, batting wise, I still needed to practice a lot more, and it would have taken me more years to join the team. And yeah, it's just like circumstances that led me to choose bowling over batting.
If you could go back, would you make a change in this decision?
I mean, I can't go back. Like, I would have wanted to really also like let my batting evolve with my bowling, and really, like, it was not just at that point when I was in Singapore. Even when I came back to India, like currently, when Manisha contacted me again, he told me to again start practicing batting because he felt that if I do that, it will provide like an edge over other bowlers, because if I know how to bat and bowl, it's a very good thing. And currently I still have that choice right now as well. I've not completely decided on becoming a bowler, so I still am lucky enough to have that opportunity to start practicing batting. And like, it's never too late for me right now, so I am still practicing. But yeah, I would have liked to really improve my batting over the years, because I've gotten like a lot of people saying that if I were a batsman, I would have been selected in the under 19 team right now. So yeah, something like that.
Yes, I suppose we can't really go back and change what happened, but we can always make an effort to do our best in the future.
Yeah.
So, can you share with our audience about your training routine or any nutrition or diet plan that you follow? Because surely cricket is a very demanding sport and you have to stay very, very fit in order to succeed.
Actually, I had a good training routine. I used to, right now in India, what I, because of the current COVID situation, it's like recently in Bangalore, we had a week in lockdown, and my mom has also been restricting me from going out because the situation has gotten from bad to worse. It's not easy for me to go out there and train right now because the academy also that I'm training is about 36 kilometers away from my house. That's what I used to like about Singapore. Every place used to be very like close to your house, and I could always go in the bus and like even cycle. I used to cycle to practice because it used to always be that close. But in India, I you have to go and like go through the traffic and the car and like now right now what I'm doing is at in my house currently I have online fitness sessions with my trainer, and I am just doing some drills in the house. I've asked my coach here, who's giving me like some bowling drills, basically to keep me in touch with the game. But sadly, because of the situation, I'm not been able to go out and really practice. And if like a year, like maybe a few months ago, this used to be my routine. If you want to know, that I used to go in the morning at around. I used to leave my house at around 8. Reached the academy by 9, and then from 9 to almost 1, sometimes 1:30, 2 o'clock almost. It used to be that we used to just completely train like in terms of bowling and even fielding and batting, and then just to come back home at around 3:30. Then I had to also like go to tuitions because I still need to study. I'm still in 12th grade right now. And after that, yeah, I used to come back, relax, and then, eat dinner and sleep. So that used to be my routine, but now it's been disrupted a bit. Like this couple of, like this whole week actually has just been in the house, very quiet.
The pandemic has definitely been a setback for all of us in one way or the other.
Yeah, but I'm just fortunate enough to be healthy and happy, and actually, I still have that opportunity to, because I am living in an apartment, I still have that opportunity to go outside, just downstairs, and still go and bowl and practice. And even my dad is actually giving me, even though he's not that good with a bat or a ball, I've been asking him to give me catches, and just like it kind of is actually, I'm very happy that I have this family who's very supportive, because even my mom has been giving me just throwing the ball, and I'm like, give it to me here, give it to me there, so that I'm still challenging myself so that I don't lose touch of the game.
That is so sweet. Your family sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, because of the pandemic, you can't play proper matches anymore. So, do you remember the first match you ever played and how do you feel at that time?
The first match I played was actually in Bangalore. I It was in one of the summer camps I was playing, and it was a hot day. I missed some family function to go and play, and it was again with there also it was all with boys. Even in India, there was like very less places at that point of time that actually girls used to come and train. And I remember being in the team, and I actually got a bat in that match. I remember batting more than bowling in that match, where I remember just the way I got out was very hilarious, because I remember a boy threw the ball and it felt like it was going over my head. So I ducked, and then I see behind the wicket has already fallen over, and I get out that way, and I was like very like angry with myself. I was like, I thought that was a no ball, because it felt like it was going over my head, but somehow the ball came and landed on the wicket exactly. And I remember also getting a catch, like I didn't catch. I dropped the catch, but then I saw the ball coming towards me and I froze and I didn't know what to do. And I just remember that feeling of, I was supposed to react that way and actually go for the catch, because at that point I was still very new to the game and I didn't know how to react when the ball came towards me. But yeah,
So, did your team win that match?
I don't remember. I don't think they won, because I remember they were also angry with me because I got one other guy run out. I didn't know at that point how it worked as well as much as I know now, at least. But I did get him run out. I remember staying and batting for a long time, but not actually scoring as much runs as they wanted me to or I wanted to. But yeah, it was a fun game at the end of the day. It was not a really a serious competition, so I had fun. That's all.
I can totally agree on that. Playing is a lot more consequential than just winning. It's about that feeling
Yeah.
that you get when you're playing. So, moving on, is there anything from your training sessions that you still implement in your personal life, especially with the whole pandemic and being locked up at home?
Yeah, the biggest thing in cricket is you have to keep repeating things to actually get it in your head. Like with bowling, if you need to get consistency with the ball, like landing it in the same spot, you need to actually be consistent with your action as well. And for getting that consistency, you need to keep practicing. And, even if it's one of the most boring drills, I've learned to really, start focusing and learn to keep repeating the things and actually learn them very well. Like that helps me in terms of concentration. It helps me to study as well, because now that I know that it takes so much effort to learn, I feel sometimes it's easier to just it's easier for me to now focus and start studying as well, because I know it takes a lot of repetition and practice to become perfect. And even I can implement that in terms of studies as well, and really put in that effort, because I know that if I put in this effort now, it's going to help me later. So that's what is basically allowed me to be more determined, more concentrated, and have that discipline by not just what wasting time and procrastinating. I know that if I do it, it will help me in the future.
Discipline definitely is very important. So, did you face any hardships throughout your journey from the first match you ever played to this day when you've played nationals and internationals and now you're planning to go for the under 19? What would you
Well,
say has been your biggest obstacle?
in after since Singapore was like like a foundation for me to build on, but in Bangalore when I came back, I really found I like at that point of time I didn't know like that cricket had become so serious in this part of the world, because like in Singapore it was serious, but then when I did come to India, I found there was a bit more professional, like it was much more professional, and also all there was a lot more competition. In like Singapore, you there were like very few girls. They were actually trying to make more girls play, but in India that was not the case. There were a lot of girls, and you had to really compete and become the best in order to even reach state level. So here I found it hard to adjust to, like I had to really become fit, because I felt in terms of the fitness levels here of the girls in India, I had to really buck up. And you can actually see photos of me in school in Singapore and now, because there's a huge difference, because I used to look a lot more chubbier, and I used to be all um, I used to hate running. But then after I came to Bangalore, I realized that I have to really, buck up and, start really putting that effort. And now I really feel proud that I've really committed to being this fit person in order to achieve good in the game. As well as I learned a lot about mental strength in the recent, even in the pandemic and the recent few years, in terms of I learned that you'll not always get a win, or it's not always about you'll always achieve everything what you wished for, because sometimes there'll be a lot of bumps in the road. So there I learned that basically to get into the under 19 team here itself, I had actually gone this close, and then I was not selected for two times. It has happened two times. And like sometimes it can be really demoralizing for me when I don't get into the team, when I've worked hard, and it sometimes feel like it's all sort of like it's all wasted, the efforts. But what I've learned from from the foundation, from Singapore and here as well, is if I can never give up, because like I know I've put in this effort, I've not made it, but it's okay. There might be a reason why I've not made it into the team, and I just need to look up, and yeah, that's what I've been doing basically. Yeah, last few years I've been putting this effort. I made it to the under 16 team, but under 19 seems to be proving a bit more harder for me. But I'm sure that if I learn from my mistakes and really start working hard, I can make it in the under 19 team, hopefully very soon.
Well, we're all looking forward to seeing you there as well.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel the burden of the expectations that people have from you, that you'll perform well, that you'll do good?
Well, I used to have that back in 2017, 2018. I used to feel that what if I don't perform well? What will everybody think? What will, there was one match where all the selectors were there, and for some reason, even if I had practiced I had practiced the whole week before that, just bowling and just putting that ball in that same spot for an hour, hours together. But then when I saw them looking at me, suddenly I panicked, and I couldn't even bowl one ball in the pitch. And it was the most embarrassing time for me, and I really did not know what was happening. And then I learned basically that it's okay. You don't need to really pressure yourself. When people are expecting from you, you need to know that they're expecting you because you've shown them potential. Basically, they know that you can do well. So if they have that expectation, that means you're actually doing something that is getting their expectations high. So if you already have it in you, why are you bothering, thinking about not performing? You should just be thinking about performing well and doing well for the team. Like at some points of time, I really need to stop thinking too much about myself and start thinking for the team, and get just perform well for the team. If I start thinking for the team, then I will not focus much on myself, and I'll get to perform for the team as well as myself, because I'll not be thinking about myself. Did it make sense?
Yeah, it does. Sometimes when we focus on the bigger picture, our small losses don't seem that huge.
Yeah. So basically, that's what. Like, if I think that I'm gonna fail, I'm not gonna do well. That's not helping me or the team. But if I'm like, okay, I want to do well for the team, I have to get them over the line. I have to, make sure they win. Then I'll not be thinking too much about myself. I'll not put that pressure on myself. I'll rather, push myself towards the goal and achieve what I actually wanted to do. So yeah.
Yeah. Since we're already talking about how to deal with failure and how to deal with losing, can you think of a time when you lost a match and how did you learn from it? And like, what did you do better the next time you played a match to make sure that didn't happen again?
Uh, okay, fine. There was one match in I was playing this match with all the senior players, and there it was the finals of the league, and we had to win the game. And the captain came, and it was about to rain. It actually got washed out at the end of the day, but it was just starting to drizzle a bit. And at that point of time, it was a very high pressure situation. And the captain came and asked that who wants to take up the next over, who wants to come and bowl, and just get the team. After this over, they are actually going to put the main major bowlers. It's just the over which is, you know where they didn't find any other bowlers, and they're like, anybody wants to step up and take that chance, and just bowl this over. And at that point, I was feeling very nervous, and I think I had even dropped a catch before that in that match, and I was not feeling confident about myself at all. And I didn't want, like, honestly, I was ashamed that I didn't want to step up and take that chance. But at the end of the day, I didn't take up that chance, and we didn't end up winning that match. And it's always been a regret for me that, oh, what if I had actually stepped up and taken the chance? Maybe if I had bowled better and gotten the team over the line, maybe I would have been much better player, and even the team would have won maybe. But after that, a couple of months later, actually, it was recently that there was this again another high pressure situation where, like, the team was like, okay, last over was there, and we had like about a few runs to defend, like 10 runs to defend. And I didn't I wanted to actually bowl. This time I was more confident for myself, and I knew that if I don't take up this opportunity now, somebody else will take it for me, and I don't want that happen. So I took up that chance, and that in that match I bowled. That last over was a maiden. That is, I didn't give any runs, and I got a wicket on the very last ball. And the captain of the team was very happy with my bowling, and I also felt very proud. I felt that I didn't go under that pressure of, oh, what if I don't bowl well? Rather, I was just like, you know what, this is a challenge. I want to take up this challenge. I want to prove it to myself. Because at the end of the day, what is there? If you lose the game, also you learn what you did wrong. You're not. What the worst that can happen is somebody will scream at you, which is most probably going to be the captain. But when they do scream at you, they'll tell you your mistakes, what you did, what you could have done better, and what you didn't do properly in the over that was bowled. And you can actually learn from that, and you can perform well. So I understood that, and I felt very proud that day that I was able to take that ball, that over in that pressure situation, and I performed well.
I think that's something we can all learn from you, to just go for it and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
This kind of leads me to my next question. As girls and as women in this world, we hear a lot of the times that girls shouldn't do this, girls shouldn't do that, and you're a girl, you shouldn't be playing this particular sport. Were you ever faced with such comments? How did you react to it?
Well, it happened in school. Like when I first started joining the game, and like there were some girls who were in the class. The boys were supportive, but the girls, they were like, why are you going and playing cricket? Girls don't play cricket. Why are you, doing that? At first, in fifth standard, we were all very young, so I understand. But then I it did hit me. I was like, it just made me question myself a bit. Like, oh, okay, am I doing the right thing? Why is everybody telling me that? Not everybody, but like it mattered to me that some people were raising that concern that, oh, why are you playing the sport? But then, because again, I was also very afraid that I'm doing something like nobody else has played. No other girl is playing cricket. Like, what if I don't have any friends or something like that? But then my parents are like, it's okay, just go and play, because I was actually interested in playing cricket. And the coach also knew me from before, because we had some slight acquaintance. My mom kind of knew him when we were neighbors or something. So he was also there. He was also like, it's okay, you can still play. And I got over that fear of not playing the sport because of that. So yeah, I did face it, but that was very long ago. Nowadays, not actually, people are more amazed by the fact that I'm playing rather than questioning me, because they're nowadays, because of the whole World Cup, even the T20 World Cup. A lot, like, there was a packed stadium in Melbourne, and you could see that a lot of people have started to really focus on women's cricket. And it's now a proud thing for everyone that a girl is playing cricket. And like, my family was already proud, but now they're even more prouder, because everybody's like, whenever anybody new comes, they're like, oh, this is Savi, she's playing cricket. And always like, there's now an expected reaction from them, like, oh, you play cricket, cricket? How is it? And everything. And now I've taken it into my stride. Like I know how to, I don't think there'll be any more comments like that really for me. Here it's been more supportive. Even in Singapore, I think people are starting to take notice of women's cricket as well, I think. So yeah, the environment has changed drastically in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's for sure. What advice would you give to all the young girls out there who might be listening to this podcast about how to make a career in sports?
Well, I mean, I've not reached that stage yet to really give like amazing advice. But what my small advice would be is whatever interest you have in sports, it may be whatever, it can be badminton, tennis, or even basketball or cricket. It's don't be afraid to pursue it as a career and as a sport. And like it really helps you grow as a person, because cricket has really helped me as well to really get my personality and get that whatever that makes me good, like a good sense of determination, good. I have got some courage, I've got confidence in myself. It's all because of the sports I've been playing. So all these young girls need to understand that cricket or any other sports, you should never be afraid to take them up and pursue them as a career, because you never know how they'll develop you as a person and as a human being. So, and it may look scary, like the whole path to success. It's not very certain. That's the only thing about sports. Is not everything is not certain in life there in that area, but you have to just keep your strength in terms of you should be strong in terms of mentally as well as physically, and just keep pursuing the thing and not really waver in terms of uh, if there are obstacles, you should just overcome them and become do what you want to do.
That's some very great advice right there. And sports definitely does help in personality development and making us a better person and helping us introspect on who we are and what we can actually be. So, you did mention before that playing sports, playing cricket specifically, helped you develop the discipline that you try to apply to your academic side of life as well. So, going back to that a little bit, how do you manage cricket and your studies at the same time?
Well, till 10th, I actually went to a normal school. I used to the school I used to study in was very accommodating in 10th, and as well as GIS, of course, they were also very accommodating in terms of even if I couldn't come a few days because of a tournament, or I had to practice before an important match, something like that, they used to understand. And I used to remember that always the class teachers used to be very happy that whenever I got selected in the tournament, they used to be like, they were very proud that I actually was in that level that I could. I remember one class teacher in 8th grade who told the whole class that she's been selected for this tournament. She's going to go and play, and she told everybody to wish me luck, and I felt very proud of what I was doing. So in terms of that, the school has always been accommodating for me, and I have also been able to uh, repay that by not taking advantage of not studying or going to school as much. Whenever I used to have time, I used to actually work hard and try and make sure that I don't lag behind because of whatever I'm doing, which is sports. And I try and as much as possible keep a proper schedule and plan out before any huge exams or anything used to come, and see like my mom also used to help me study basically and make sure that I'm not that far behind from anyone. And it showed also, like till 10th, I used to have very good results, and I used to also always score good and not average, good and decent. And after now last 2 years, 11th and 12th, I've been doing a bit of distance learning because I felt, and also like COVID situation made everybody do distance learning anyways. But 11th I did through NIOS, that is the National Institute of Open Schooling, where they'll give you the textbooks and they'll give you the notes and the videos. You can actually go and you have to study by yourself. But it's actually been helpful for me because I've been able to put that much more effort into my cricket and really, grow in that area as well and make sure that I don't lag behind in studies. So right now I've been preparing for the NIOS exams, and yeah, it's important to have a schedule and a routine as a sports person. It becomes more important to have a timetable because sometimes there might be some huge tournament that will just pop up suddenly, and you have to be very prepared for it by always staying up to date with whatever studies I have. So yeah.
Yeah. Even a lot of my friends have opted for open school because of the pandemic and the entire situation that's been going on. Would you say you prefer open school since you can now study a bit more at your pace and it's a bit more flexible than a normal regular school?
Of course, I feel like it helped me become more flexible with my studies, as well as, of course, it's a bit harder than normal school because you have to keep yourself accountable and responsible for whatever you're studying. It's not as easy where the teachers are always there to be like, you have to study these are the unit tests that are coming up or something like that. In terms of that, you have some lack of motivation. I also had that in the phase, but then as soon as but I always have to I always try and keep a routine so that I never fall back on it, or that's the only way I can really start studying and make sure that I continues to study, because then I would just usually get distracted, but then because I have a timetable to keep up with, I would want to finish all my lessons. But yeah, basically open schooling has allowed me to become more flexible, and it has provided me more time to focus on my cricket as well. So yeah, I would recommend that for people.
Well, we have been talking a lot about studies and cricket and timing and schedule and discipline. So, in between all of this, do you ever find time to develop other hobbies and do other things that you might like?
Yeah, I would say I have my hobbies are not like it's not normal. Like, I like dancing, but it's not really a hobby. I used to do a lot of videos. Like, it was just something for myself. Me and my brother used to always make some funny silly videos, and it used to be like we always used to show it to our parents, and we all used to have a good laugh. In terms of that, I still sometimes do that, and it's fun, and it's a way for me to not always be switched on, because that's also a huge part of cricket, that you can't always be switched on. You have to switch off sometimes and relax. And of course, I also read some books. I was huge. I had read a lot of books, especially in the last couple of years. I finished a lot of Percy Jackson, Harry Potter. I was reading some of the Right. I also read some Malcolm Gladwell, like some non-fiction books. A lot of books I used to read. Even now, I'm reading, and yeah, those are the only two things I actually like comes into my head, which is other than cricket, like hobbies.
Do you have any book recommendations for our audience?
Right now, I actually there's one book which is about women's cricket, which I think is very interesting. That is The Fire Burns Blue. I have I have the book right here. Can you see?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's basically about how the women's cricket game has evolved through the ages, and that I felt that it was a very good book, and I felt like some of the people who have pioneered the game, they must have been very determined and strong, because they took the game from like one place to another. Like, it was because of their efforts, now I've been able to play and have a proper system in, like, in terms of professionalism, and everything in cricket has come because of their foundation that they have laid. So yeah, that's a good book. The Fire Burns Blue.
I'll definitely be adding it to my reading list. So,
Yeah.
do you also manage to find time to watch IPL?
Of course, I'm a huge. I like watching cricket a lot because I watch them not just for entertainment, but also to learn from these huge players who are at a huge like even there's very like slight differences between the women's game and the men's game. Of course, I can't do everything they're doing, but there's some things in terms of strategy which is very common with the game that I play. So I listen to the commentators talk about how how bowlers can use these techniques to maybe how to bowl a slower ball, how they are using variations to limit the batsmen from scoring that much, and how they are setting the fields, how the batsman is also adapting to the situations, and how different pitches act different ways. And yeah, there's a lot to learn from that as well, because when I'm watching the game, I'm thinking about how I would have played in that situation, which is basically at this point in the pandemic, I've not been able to play that many games. So I've been seeing these matches and trying to just emulate, like think about how it is to be there and playing that level, because that will always help.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any particular team that you support?
I support RCB because I obviously living in Bangalore. I was born in Bangalore. I also love Virat Kohli's aggression and his style, so it was an obvious choice for me. But I also when I was small, I used to like CSK as well because I used to love Dhoni. But yeah, CSK and RCB, like both of them. But right now, RCB more.
Well, we'll see who wins this one.
Yeah,
Do you see these players on the big screen and everything that one day you'll be there and people would be rooting for you and your team?
definitely. That's one huge dream for me. That if I do make it, I will be very honored, and I would love to be in their position. And like, it's always every athlete or cricketer like myself have the dream of playing for the national side, because without that dream or that aim or the goal, you'll not be actually working as hard as you want to be. So yeah, it's always been I would always look forward to go out there and play one day for even maybe even IPL franchises. If there are IPL franchises by the time I'm old enough and I'm playing there, I would be even happier. But yeah, of course, representing the country and hearing all of them root for me, that would be a big dream, and I always imagine myself doing that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Is there, obviously, apart from playing for the nationals, where do you see yourself down the line, few years down the line? Where do you see yourself?
I would see myself either uh, I think I'll still be training and trying to make it to the national team at that point, few years down the line. At the same time, I will see myself trying to like study and be in such a career path that even if I'm not in the team, I can be involved in the game of cricket. That is, I'd want to be somewhere in the management side of the whole team, or even in the physical side, physical training, like the training side of the team, somewhere which is still involved in the game of cricket. That's what I would see myself doing in a couple of years.
So you would like to keep cricket as a main focus in your life?
Yes, of course, because it's a very it's a very good game. It's been a part of my life for a lot of years, and I hope it remains a part of my life for the years to come as well.
Any particular match that is very close to your heart that you have played?
I mean, I would say there have been a lot of matches, but maybe my first. I didn't exactly debut in that match, but the very first match I saw when I was playing. for the under 16 state side. It was a Karnataka versus Tamil Nadu match, and I was in the 15, but I was not in the 11. I was not playing. But the thing that made that match stand out for me, and that I always will go on to remember about it, is because the Karnataka side, we bowled first, and we had to chase down some target, and at one point it almost seemed impossible. It was around 56 from 36 balls, and I was like, whoa, how are they going to get out of this one? But then like one player like stuck out, and she hit, and she made sure that we somehow won, like by like in the last ball. It was 2 runs to win, and she hit the ball, and for a four, and like we celebrated like hell, because it was a huge win for us, and it was our very first game in the tournament. And that kind of determination that I saw in her, I felt like I had to embody in my own game, because it felt like nobody would have thought 56 from 36 seems like a huge score, especially in the under 16. Under 16 side, it was just very young people, and we were not that amazing at our game still. But she made sure that she didn't give up, and she hit that day like so much, and I was super inspired by her. And we all won that day, and I felt like, wow, this is why I play this game, because it's like there's never a point where you're like, okay, we've completely, you can just give up. You can always keep fighting, and you can always switch on and fight back and make sure you win that game.
Yeah, and I suppose that's a huge part of playing any sports is constantly learning from your fellow players and from your team members.
Yeah, we were all, actually at that point when she started hitting, we were all standing in the same position, and we were very superstitious, where we would like, we'll stand right here so that she keeps hitting. We'll not move from our places, because we don't want her to get out. And we were like super proud of her when she actually finished, and we went on to win that year. So that game became very crucial in the whole tournament, because if we had lost that game, we couldn't have completely won the tournament, because after we won that game, we went on to win all the other games, and we completely had a undefeated run to become like the champions. So that game really meant a lot to me as a person and as a player.
That is definitely a huge achievement.
Yeah.
Before we end this, is there any other word of advice that you would like to give to a young audience who want to pursue cricket?
uh, it should I already gave like that
Yeah,
advice which I gave was
yeah,
a lot. But yeah, just keep going, and always it's important to also take care of your mental health as a person, as a sports person. I don't like when as you start playing the game more and more often, sometimes you'll feel that pressure of performing well, or even fear of failure, which will affect you very deeply. And sometimes you will have anxieties, which is not that good, and you'll start not liking the game anymore, which is a very low point. But it's always good to make sure that you're keeping your mental health in check, and make sure that you're strong mentally. And actually, you should always love the game. And the day you stop loving the game is the day you should just you should not keep continuing, because it's just going to not end well. But you should always, that's all. You should always make sure that you're confident, and you're capable of playing the game, and making sure that you are mentally also love the game.
definitely. Our love for the sport should prevail every other thing that might come in between.
Yeah, what I meant to say was, don't come under the pressure of others to perform. Rather, let it be from within yourself, that you want to perform well. Don't like let others dictate what is there in your life. Rather, just control your life. That's what. I meant to say.
That's some great advice right there. Well, thank you, Savi, for such an inspiring and insightful conversation. It was great to have you with us today. You have been an inspiration to all those girls who wish to pursue a sport, and I hope that you continue to inspire many more and go on to achieve all your goals and dreams. Thank you also to our listeners for tuning in. This is your host Shalini Jha signing off. If you like this episode or have any comments or feedback, you can reach out to us at soundcloud.com/smartcast. Do follow us for more such interesting and inspiring podcasts. Goodbye and stay safe.